Hi guys, I am Ms. Shapiro,
And I'm Mr. Shuchat.
and we are going to be here to teach you some forensics. So we're going to alternate on and off. You may just see me, you may see Mr. Shuchat, or you may just see both of us at the same time like we are now. But for right now, we're going to do a video on the circulatory system. This is going to be the first blood lesson, all right?
Okay.
It's my turn now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to ask you to get out a piece of paper and we're going to take some notes. It is crucial for you to take as many notes as you possibly can during this. Obviously, all your tests are going to be open notebooks since I cannot go home and make sure you don't look up the answers. So it would behoove you to take as many notes as you possibly can here and then use them on your notes. Because it is going to be open notes, your tests are going to be a little bit harder. So just take that in mind. I'm not going to ask you what the three parts of the circulatory system are made of. I mean, that's kind of like right there. So it's going to be a little bit harder. What you're going to do is you're going to go on Schoology and you're going to look up the blood point PowerPoint and you're going to click on it. And when you double click, this is going to be the first slide. So we're going to take notes. If you're not at the same place we are right now, you're going to pause me and then continue when you're ready. So the heart is made up of three separate things. This is the circulatory system. It's the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. Again, these three things make up the circulatory system. So it's important for you to jot this information down. The purpose of the heart is to pump blood around to the body. Now, the heart is a muscle, and it's one of the strongest muscles you can have. If it's not strong enough, then your body is going to struggle in getting the blood to edges of your hands and feet. So it's really important that this is the most important muscle you strengthen. Blood vessels. Blood vessels there's different components within a blood vessel, but they were basically the network of tubes that are going to carry the blood around to the body. So if you see here, this is a picture of the body. I'm going to ask you to probably just jot down a figure, okay? You're going to notice that there's red and blue, okay? So the red, which points to the arteries, okay? This is the artery. Why is it red? Because it has oxygen, okay? The blue signifies the veins, okay? So you may want to jot down two different colors and just show that the blue signifies the veins. And why are they blue? They're blue because they have no oxygen. Now, you'll notice if you look at your wrists, you're going to see a lot of blue guys, and yes, they are your veins, and that's how you'll be able to tell them. Last but not least, third part of the circulatory system is the blood, and that is absolutely crucial. It is liquid that transports the materials around to the body. Blood is made up of a ton of things, okay? But more importantly, they're going to be red and white blood cells. You're also going to have digestive material, platelets. We'll go into this in more detail, but know that there's a lot to just blood. The next slide is going to be for Mr. Shuchat, and you guys are going to draw the body, the heart.
Oops. Okay, next slide. Right, is the heart. Right, you can see a lot of things here on our list. We're not going to necessarily do all of them. We're going to cover a couple of key ones. Oh, Mr. Pyro already erased. Okay, here's your picture of the heart. Right, heart shaped like a heart. Right, it's about, there's your heart. Okay, the shape of your heart. There's 4 different chambers in the heart that help circulate the blood across as the heart pumps. Right, it pushes the heart through, pushes the blood through your body. A couple of key things that we want to know about the heart. All right, the heart is made up of 4 different chambers. Those chambers are the atriums. There's a right and a left atrium. All right, a right and a left. Somewhere in here says what atrium? The left atrium.
The left one is behind.
Okay. So it's not on our picture because it's kind of at the back of the heart, right? Here's our right atrium, and then our ventricles. Here's our right ventricle and our left ventricle. They're down here at the bottom of the heart, right? The right ventricle and the left ventricle, right? And the blood gets pumped through the heart and out. the other couple of key things that we need to know, all right? This thing up here is called the aorta. All right, this big old vein here, or I'm sorry, it's an artery, is called the aorta. The aorta pumps blood up. It goes up and sends blood up to the brain here, and the aorta is actually down here too, sending blood down to the rest of your body. Right? This is part of your aorta. Aorta. There you go, right? That's part of the aorta also. Pumps blood from the heart to the brain and down to the rest of your body. It's the biggest biggest vessel in your body. The other one is called the vena cava. You don't really need to know this as much, but this is where all the blood ultimately comes back into the heart after it's traveled around your body. All right, so aorta goes out from the heart. The vena cava comes back into the heart. Okay, all erase.
Okay, so we're going to move on. The next slide, you're not going to necessarily worry about. This we would normally teach if we were in-house. It's the internal view, so please skip over that. We also usually talk about how the heart actually works. We're going to skip over that as well. Some of this is not necessary for virtual learning. Next thing we're going to get to is the 3 different types of blood vessels. The first is an artery, and I'll go into that in more detail if you could just jot this down. The second is a vein, and the third is a capillary. Again, artery is going to be oxygenated, vein not oxygenated, and this guy is just a connection between these two, which again we'll talk about in more detail.
Okay, right? As Mr. Shapiro just said, the arteries are oxygenated, right? They came from the lungs afterwards, and then the heart pumps it with the oxygen out to the rest of your body, right? But so the key idea here is arteries go away from the heart, right? They pump blood away from the heart. The bigger the artery, right? The aorta is the biggest artery in your body because that's where all the blood initial leaves your body, and then they get smaller, but they go away from your body out to and bring the oxygen and the food and everything else out to the rest of your body. All right, next.
All right, next are the veins. Again, I got a ton of them down here. The veins carry it towards the heart, okay? Towards. Veins carry blood towards the heart. Now, if you're getting to a point where we're going too fast, you just put it on pause, not a big deal. And then when you're ready to resume, hit play. So veins have these valves, okay, in between here, for below. And what happens is your body, the only way that your veins can come back up towards the heart is these valves. And every time you take a breath, it closes. Every time you open, it opens. Every time you take a breath, it opens. And every time you stop, it closes. And that way, that blood doesn't go down to your...
That was aggressive.
Yeah, it was. These muscles surround the veins, okay? And they squeeze these guys, again, causing the valves to open and then to close. Last but not least, this is the end of the lesson, is the capillaries. And Mr. Shukat's going to do that while I watch my broken phone.
All right, so our capillaries, again, are the last type of vessel, right? And as Mr. Shapiro said earlier, they're kind of the link between the arteries and the veins. So at the end, all the blood goes out to the end of your fingers and out to your toes and everything, and then it has to come back. So these capillaries connect the arteries to the veins. Capillaries are really the smallest type of vessel in your body. Okay? Right? Exchange the materials. And because they're so small, when the oxygen gets to your body, the oxygen can then get out of the capillary and into your muscle cells or any other cell that you need, that you're feeding your body, or the food, the energy can get from the capillary into the cells that it's providing stuff for. Okay, and then it allows us to the rest of the blood to go back to the heart and start the whole system all over again. Okay.
Okay, so just submit a copy of the notes that you took. Loving adding colors, the blue and the red. That's going to help you in your brain putting pictures together. We will see you tomorrow, possibly.